Alright, so hi everyone, let's have a look at some data types, basic data types that are very important when working with Python. I will create what we call a variable called a. You could give it any name you want, okay? I'm just going to go easy, call it a, and that will store a value, okay? Some value will be put into this variable, okay? In this case, you could go for like a sentence, but I'll just say that a is 1. That's what a is as an object, okay? Then if I print a, I should return 1. Easy, right? Now let's say that I overwrite a. Oops. Now a equals 3. The previous value has been overwritten, so now I have a new value, and now the system will print the latest value that was assigned to the variable. So if I change the order of these variables, now the system will print 1. You can do obviously a lot of things with this. You could add them up. You can do a plus b, which is what we want, right? We're going to do. Oh, sorry. Let's change the second variable to b, and now we can add them up because they are different. Now it's 4, right? We could subtract them. We could divide. To divide it, we use the forward slash symbol. And then, oh, by the way, you might be wondering how I run the cells. You could run the cells by pressing here, but that's kind of tedious because you have to come back here and press again. So the shortcut is Shift Enter, and it just runs the cell for you, okay? So we know how to plus them, how to subtract them, how to divide them. I want to multiply them, I use the asterisk, and then boom, done. Or you could raise, let's give it a value of 2. If you double multiply, then what you're doing is you're raising a to the power of b. So in this case, we should get a 9. Let's see if it works. Yes, it does. What if you wanted to, let's say that we have only one variable with a value of 16, and you want to square root it? What would you do? Well, there is a easy way, like simple way, and then a more complex way. I'll show you the more simple one. You could say a times 0.5, and that will give you, not times, raised to the power of 0.5, and that will give you the square root. Or you could build a little bit more code and use the math library. Let me show you what this is. So Python has a lot of libraries inside it. They come with the program, with the language. One of them is math. So you import math, and now you can use a lot of different functionalities that are designed only for math. So one of them is square root. I will keep a being 16, and I will empty this for now, okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to create a square root. So I call it my square root. And then, what is this? Well, yeah, it's a variable, right? I will assign something to it. What will I assign? Well, I know that the math library, math.dot, has a function that will square root any number. So it's called sqrt. You see it's in a different color because it's built in and imported from the math library. Now I will open parentheses and I will give it a. Okay. Now this variable will take this function, and this function will execute the variable a, which is 16, and square root it. Now if I want to print it out, what do I print? What do you think I should print? If I print a, what do you think I'll get? Obviously 16, right? So what I have to print is my square root. And now we get 4. You can change a anytime you want. Let's give it 64. And you will get different square roots, okay? What if, let me get rid of this. I create another variable, and now I don't want to be assigning a number to the variable. I want the user to input a number, okay? You can think of this as a calculator, or like, I don't know, you can do bank transactions using kind of this formula. So I will give it an integer, okay? I will give it an integer. This will only take integers, whole numbers. I will open parentheses, and then I will say input. Input is like print. It's built in, okay? So the program will know what it is. So it's integer, okay? And then I will open a second parenthesis, and I will start writing a sentence. To write a sentence, to write a string, we call it a string, we need to make sure that there are quotation marks before and after the sentence, okay? So double quotation marks work better, because if you use single quotation marks, that could be, if you write a word like let's, that apostrophe here in let's is interpreted as closing the string. So it will only take let. So that's why, by convention, we use double quotation marks. Yeah, so I will say, please enter an integer, colon, space, by convention, so it looks prettier, and I close the parentheses. Now, I know I'm doing something wrong on purpose. I'll come back to this, okay? Now I will print A, and it will give me an error. I want you to look at this error because it may happen, especially if you're not familiar with the syntax. You might make these mistakes. Wait, the parenthesis was never closed. That's what it's telling me. Now I look at it and I realize I had opened it once and twice, so I need to close it twice. Okay, by convention, you need to close it twice. Not by convention, that's how the program works. And if I run it, the system is going to ask for my input of an integer. So if I give it 5, it will print out 5. Okay, if I give it 2.3, the system, the program is going to crash. It's not going to work. What? It's not going to work because A was waiting, expecting an integer, and we gave it a decimal number, which is not the whole number, right? How to fix this? Easy peasy. We can call it float. A float will take decimal numbers and integers as well. Let me show you. I'll give it 2.3 again, and it will give me 2.3. If I give it an integer, such as 7, it will return 7.0. 7.0. Right? Easy. If I give it, let's copy this and create a second variable that is the same, and it's called b. Okay? And now let's print, I don't know, you want to divide them? Let's divide A by B. And now we'll input, let's do decimal numbers. Let's do one integer and one decimal number. You should know the answer to this, right? It's 4. 10 divided by 2.5 equals 4. Yep, that is, you know, integers, you know, floats, you know, inputs, you know, strings, you know, print, and you know, variables now, plus 6 operations here. I know it's a lot, so feel free to pause the video, practice. You don't have to remember all of this, okay? You can play with it, try it out, make sure the syntax is accurate, and do not stress too much. It's just for fun. What else? What should I do? I have a list here of things that I want to tell you. Let's do a list, just one list. So, we're not going to be using lists a lot, but we might be using sets in the future. So A will not equal that. A will equal 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's it. That's what A is. I use brackets for lists, okay? And if I print A, boom, it gives me the whole list. What if I want to find an item in my list? I want to find the value of one of my items. This is interesting, and it happens in all coding, all the coding languages that I know about have this index. So basically, I want to find the first value. So the first value is at index 0. So if I want the index 0 of A, I should get 1. If I want the index 2, well then I should type for 1, which is the second index. And what if I want 4? Well then it would be 0, 1, 2, 3. I should input 3 and get 4 as an output. Okay, let's do a couple of lists. I want to continue with list B, that will be 5, 6, 7, 8. And I want to concatenate. I want to put the two lists together. A plus B is the two lists together. Got it? Now, what else can we do? Let's do a set, and then I'll move on to something more fun. I will get rid of B, and I will change A into a set. Some of you might know what sets are, but they're represented with curly brackets, just like that. And a set will give you a unique item for each value. So if I have 3 4s and I want to print my set, it will give me only 1. Okay, that's what a set is. Okay, what else? What else should I tell you? Okay, let's check booleans. For example, let's say that A equals 4 and B equals 6, and I want to know if A is greater than B. Well, that's a boolean. It's a true-false statement. Okay, they come very handy if you're designing bigger programs, but you don't really need to worry about this now. Okay, but if I change the inequality, it will give me true. Okay, what else? Oh, what if you know that the equal symbol stores value into the variable, right? But what if I actually want to check if two numbers are equal? Because if I do this, if I do 4 equals 5, that's not going to work. There are two integers. No, I'm giving the value of 5 to 4. It's going to mess up the program. What if I want to check if A is equal to B? Because if I go like this, the program is going to crash. I would give it this. That means that A is now B. And if I print A, what do you think I will get? B, which is kind of silly. That's not what I want. I want to check if the value of this A is equal to the value of this B. So it's easier than you think. All you have to do is double the equal symbol. You do 2 equals, and then that is checking. And if I run the cell, it's false, because this is 4 and this is 6. If I change 4 to 6, it becomes true. Okay. What else could we do? We could do. Okay. I think we could do A equals 8, and we could. Let me type something here. You can use the hashtag symbol to type nodes that will not be in the program. So Python will not recognize them as part of the program. This will be an even number checker, and it will check if A is even or not. Okay, so the way we do this is an if statement. If A I know this is very silly. Percentage means if I divide A by 2 and the remainder is equal to 0, that means that A is even, right? So in that case, if all of this happens, this might be a little bit too much, but don't worry about it. If all of this happens, I want to print it's even. Now, if this doesn't happen, oh wait, what mistake did I make right here? You see how this parenthesis is part of the string? Because I didn't close my string. Now, if this doesn't happen, or else, I want to print it's odd. Okay? Close your string and let's run it. It's even. 8 is even, right? What if I call it 13? Well, it's odd. And that's a little program right here. This is a little program right here. This percentage symbol will look at the remainder. We'll look at the remainder and it will compare it to something, okay? It will compare it to something. Okay, let's move on. I think that's it. There's one more thing that I want to tell you. Let's go back to the very beginning. A equals 4B. We can call it B, but we can call it Mr. Sergio. We can call it whatever. You can call it whatever you want. No, but Sergio is recognized, not because of the dot. Mr. Sergio equals 6. Now, what if I want to print A plus B? It would give me 10. But this is kind of annoying because I have to keep changing these numbers. What if I create a function that will take an input and give you an output, okay? So let's do that real quick. It's going to be a little bit hard. It's slightly more complex, but if you listen, you will get it. To functions, we call it def, D-E-F, okay? That will tell the program that what's coming is a function that I can use multiple times, okay? And I am going to just add numbers. That's the name of my function, add numbers. And it will take 2 numbers. Let's keep it simple, A and B. And then colon. And here I need to build some logic in my function, which is very simple. In this case, the logic is A plus B. And then I wanted to print, I need to store, sorry, I forgot. I need to store A plus B as something. So let's call it sum. Sum equals A plus B. And now I know what to print, yeah? I will print the sum. Now, let's call this function. To call this function, we need to create a variable such as result equals, and then the name of the function, add numbers. And then we'll give them 2 numbers. But wait, I think we can make this better. We can make this better. A equals int. Let's go for floats. Input. Enter a number. Close, close. And I will do the same for B, which is easier. I can just copy, paste. And call it B. And here I'll call it A and B. And let's run this. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I forgot. Oh! I'm not the sharpest, am I? Now, enter a number. Let's enter 5. And let's enter 6. And it gives you 11. So this function will just take any numbers that you input in it and add them up. And you can just call it by creating a variable, calling the function name, and then the items inside of that function. I could just give it items here. I could give it 7 and 8. I don't know if this will work. Oh no, it's asking me. I could remove all of this. There you go. I could remove this and here input the numbers personally. So this is 12. Let's call it again 15 because I gave it the numbers here. You can also do that, okay? You can also do that. Now, how about if you like this lesson, I'm sorry for the long video. If you like it, how about you try to create a function to subtract 2 numbers? You can try it. And if you get it right, please post it on the group and I will be looking at them. Remember, this is not mandatory. This is, let's say, supplementary materials that I think will be interesting for you guys. But if you are not interested, that's fine, okay? Okay, see you next week. Bye.